Hey y'all. Hey guys. Welcome to 90 Day the Melanated Way. I'm your host, Linda Antwi. We are covering 90 Day Bears All. Let's do some housekeeping. First and foremost, if you guys missed our Nikki Star crossover event this afternoon, you definitely want to watch the replay. I will also have it up on my channel shortly. We are doing part 2 tomorrow at 1 p.m. on my Instagram at 90 Day the Melanated Way. So if you're around, you'll definitely want to check that out. It was a party, y'all. It was a whole party. Housekeeping in the house. Yeah, I think I'm a singer now. I am not. Guys, wherever you're watching, whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube or on Patreon, or you're listening to the replay on anywhere you listen to podcasts, whatever the case may be, please consider supporting this show, the 90 Day, the Melanated Way. I have my Cashapp and Venmo on the screen. lindaissogirlie. If you are allergic to commitment and don't want to join another subscription service, please feel free to definitely reach out to lindaissogirlie on Venmo and on Cashapp. If you're also streaming it on YouTube, we now have super chat and super stickers, so please look into that. So that part. I also want to give some shout outs. Sandra and Carol, welcome to Patreon. Excited to have you. Trina, Daniela, Jennifer, Rebecca, Marianne, Raydella, Linda, Lydia, Brianna, Crystal, Nicole, Amanda, and Jaleesa. I appreciate you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. Shout out live chat. Hey. Hey, Tammy. I think Tammy's new, so let's welcome Tammy. She says, hi, everyone. So, yes, Crystal, twice. Seeing you twice today. The show today with Nikki was everything. Yes, we had so much fun, you guys. It was amazing. It was a great crossover event. All right, y'all. Overall thoughts of Bears All this episode. I was a little bit underwhelmed. I'm going to tell you, I've seen better episodes. I've been a lot more entertained. It was entertaining, but I've been more entertained by Bears All. And I feel like they give us a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. And we got a little bit of that, but not a lot this episode. What did you guys think? If you've seen the episode, let me know in the live chat in the comments. And Tammy says, Julia and Yara did a live on Instagram tonight. Well, that must have been interesting. I did not see it. Love Julia, love Yara. Yara, I don't know why you blocked me, but I'm blocked by Yara, so I don't get to see a lot of her stuff. So it'll be interesting for me to find out what that was about. So on this episode, we had Kalani, we had Asuelu, we had Fernanda, we had Jess, we had Yazan and Adam, and then we had Kenny and Armando. So let's talk about it. Crystal said, Asuelu is always good for a laugh. At one point, I was in tears. Asuelu is good for a laugh. So let's talk about that. So if you know my show, you know that I'm not really good with sayings. And so I still am not familiar with this saying, but my Africans out there, you guys are going to get a kick out of this part. So they started with Kalani and Asuelu and just how they met. And they took us back to them grocery shopping. And they were shopping for chicken. And hey, Nise, hey girl, hey. They were shopping for packaged chicken. And Kalani was like, do you have this back home in Samoa? And he was explaining how they have chickens at the house and how, they kill the chickens and cook the chickens fresh. And he says, we choke the chicken. Now, I've heard that saying, I think it has a whole different meaning than what I think it means. But Kalani started laughing and Sean started laughing about choke the chicken. And Kalani was trying to explain to Asuelu that it's not literally what he thinks it means. And then for my Africans out there, he did his own saying about fufu. He's like, well, do you like fufu like this? And he totally made a hand gesture. And I was like, wait a minute. Both of these sayings I haven't grasped them in a sexual way, you guys, because it's just not a thing. Like fufu to me is fufu that you eat with your hand that is super yummy. And if you've never had it, you should try it because it's amazing. So for it to be in the sexual content, like totally threw me off. And I'm still not 100% sure. And maybe I don't need to know much more. So they talk about that, and we find out that Asuelu, and if you've seen him anywhere on his Instagram or social media, he's picked up golfing. And so he talked a little bit about his golfing and how Kalani said, have fun, go break a leg, which was another saying that he didn't know. He's like, why would you want me to break my leg while I'm golfing? So that whole thing. And then Sean talked about how she didn't really think that Asuelu and Kalani was going to make it after the tell-all, and she thought that they would break up. And Kalani was really, really honest. She said she didn't realize that they would make it either. And she did think that they weren't going to go the distance, but they both were putting in a lot of work. And Kalani says that not that they're in a good space, you guys, but they're in an okay space. So they're both putting in the effort to make their marriage work. And I will say this, it does look like Asuelu has grown up a little bit. And I think that they're both trying, communication-wise. I think that was their issues, that they didn't really communicate properly. And I think that they're both working on that. Then they show an exclusive, you guys. So it's like a fashion show, perhaps. I guess that's what it was. Hey, Raina. Raina said, I don't know what fufu is either. I don't know what it was either. I just know it's the food, Raina. So I'm sticking to that. I'm sticking to my only knowledge of fufu. And so anyways, they do a fashion show. Kalani doesn't really enjoy the way Asuelu dresses. Asuelu says he's Samoan aloha. That's how he would describe his style. And his favorite colors are blue, black, red, and black. And he likes to mix up patterns. He likes to mix up his style. He kind of doesn't care like how it looks, but Kalani feels like he dresses like he's an overgrown toddler and doesn't really appreciate all the mix match and different patterns that he wears. So this is what I thought was funny, you guys. All of a sudden, he's cussing up a storm. He's like, I don't care what MF say. I don't care about that stupid shit. And then he's like, as long as my but he says, Susan, fufu. Okay, Susan. Susan's throwing me off my game a little bit here. Susan, I love you. You're probably Nigerian, but fufu is not only Nigerian. I will say it's West African because Guineans have it as well. Let's not have the Jollof Wars fight today, Susan. Not today, my friend. Hey, girl. Hey, Trisha. Hey. Trisha says, hey, girl. Hey. Loves the Kalani. I'm glad they were working it out. He is sweet, but was being a jerk last season. So, Asuelu, as long as he's covering his butt and his other privates, he's good to go. He doesn't care about anything else. Susan says she's not Nigerian. Okay, well, I'm letting you know, Susan, that I am of Guinean descent, and fufu does not just belong to Nigeria. So he doesn't care about fashion. He likes what he likes, and if it makes him happy, that's all that's important to him. So they did a little bit of a fashion show. The first outfit they called Professional, and it was a ill-fitted suit, you guys, with a blue tie. Suit was like too big for him. It looked like he was throwing on, in my opinion, his dad's suit, and I wasn't really for it. Didn't really suit his personality. What do you guys think in the live chat? Do you think that if you saw it, do you think that it suited him? I personally didn't. Second outfit was sporty, and he had on a neon shirt and some spandex that looked like he was in the 1990s. I was like, first of all, who's the stylist? Who's the stylist on Bears All? Because they could have done a way better job, in my opinion. And Kalani did not like that sporty outfit at all. Neither did I. And Asuelu was funny. He's like, well, at least I could ride a bike in the middle of the night and people would see me because that's how bright it was. Like bright neons and pinks, the whole 9 yards, complete spandex. It was a whole, like, who found that? Who found that? And last but not least, they gave him a cowboy look. So he had a red cowboy shirt on, some jeans that were ill-fitting as well, that he came out not buttoned up, and he had the big cowboy belt on and some cowboy boots that didn't fit him. So as he walked, he was like kind of walking all messed up because his feet weren't specifically in the boots because they didn't fit him properly. So I will say this, it was like dress up, but it was like dress up like how kids dress up, where everything doesn't quite fit properly. So I don't know if they did that on purpose. I don't know if the stylist like last minute just threw some things together, but whatever it was, his Asuelu makeup was an epic fail. Epic fail, 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 fail. I personally like his style better than whatever this makeover thing that they were doing for him was. Then they talked a little bit about Kalani, and he doesn't like Kalani to wear tops that show between her boobs. He doesn't like when her armpits show, and he doesn't like when her stomach shows. So he wants her to cover her boobs, her shoulder, and her armpits. And Kalani was like, what's the difference? I mean, you wear tank tops. And he's like, yes, but I'm a boy. So that was their first little segment, which it was entertaining, kind of, you guys. But again, I was a bit underwhelmed. Crystal says they definitely did that on purpose. And next up was Fernanda, you guys. Fernanda, as you guys know, Trisha takes back her earlier comment. Fernanda, as you guys know, spent some time in Los Angeles. So while she was here, she also showed up on Bears All. And if you guys didn't know, she was moving from Chicago and she was debating whether she's going to live in Miami or in Los Angeles. So she kind of did both coasts, and she decided that she was going to move to Miami, even though, you guys, she met her current boyfriend here in Los Angeles. So I don't know how that whole thing is going to play out, but I'm sure we'll see it play out. They gave us a flashback of the club scene. Do you guys remember the club scene where her and Jonathan got in a huge fight because she went to the bathroom? She comes back and he's dancing with some other girl and she totally freaks out. Well, she admitted on the show that she was younger. She used to have an explosive personality and that she's kind of calmed down a little bit. So she's not so explosive in her personality now, which I thought was interesting. She talked about how she moved to Chicago because she has family support there. Her grandfather lives out there. And then to find out that Jonathan, who she wanted, remember, to move to Chicago with her, but he wouldn't, moved. Hey, TG. TG says, I can't. It's just all too much. So she found out that he actually ended up moving to Chicago as well through social media, through Instagram. So he made a post on Instagram and the caption read, I couldn't imagine making this move with anyone else. And she felt like that was a direct dig to her. And now it's 2 years later. And so she feels over it. She's moved on. He's moved on. And if you guys don't know, Jonathan's about to have a baby. His fiance is pregnant and due this summer. And Fernanda has a new man too. So, they both found happiness in other people. And I guess that's all you can ask for is being happy. So they show that Fernanda's on the single life. And they show a little clip of her and what she says is her model friends. She said they're all models. They're all successful. They're all in their 20s. And she was kind of on this group date with this guy, Robbie, who we met on the single life. They ask him a couple of questions. And then all of a sudden, we see Fernanda completely making out with Robbie. And it's a long makeout that, anytime there's something sexual, it makes Sean uncomfortable. So Sean was like just sitting there and you can watch her watch the screen feeling uncomfortable. And Sean's like, That was a really long kiss, y'all. And as Willie said, it was like eating ice cream, and he made this like, and it was hilarious to me. I fell out. Crystal, I fell out when Asuelu threw his like 2 cents, and it was too funny to me. And then Sean made a comparison, Robbie looking like Jonathan, which I think he did. I think that there are definitely similarities, and that Fernanda has a type. Even her current boyfriend looks like Jonathan. So she said that she likes the strong, confident type. She also likes her men to be hairy. She likes them to be tall. And that describes all the exes that we know of thus far. Then, y'all, okay. Next, it was like a cornucopia of just random stuff this episode, I thought. They show some sneak peeks of the tell-all footage, and it's the Andrew and Amira. So we know that Andrew and Amira are both going to be at the tell-all. However, Amira is coming in through satellite, and Andrew's on set. And he's only agreeing to be on the tell-all if he gets to be on the stage and confront Amira. Meanwhile, Amira only agrees to come to the tell-all if she doesn't have to see or talk to Andrew directly. He freaks out. You guys, he freaks out in his typical way. He's like, I am going to go home. He says, quote, if she wants to be adversarial, it's not acceptable to him and it's unfair. And so he checks out, you guys. He walks off the stage. He says he's not coming back unless both of them are on the stage together. And it was like a mess. Like he went from 0 to 100 in less than 5 seconds, you guys. It was outrageous. So that was the sneak peek. Tell All is this weekend, April 11th, the part 1, and I am here for it, you guys. By the way, Andrew looks completely different on the Tell All. I don't know what has been going on in his life, but that he looks different. I'll just say that. I don't even want to wreck it for you. He looks 100% different than any Instagram post you've seen, any stories you've seen, any Facebook you've seen. He looks different. And I'll leave it at that. Crystal says, Robbie was throwing out red flags. Glad she didn't stick with that guy. And Crystal also says that Andrew is doing the most. And hey, Myra. Myra says Andrew's such drama. And Trisha says less greasy, but still super creepy. Is less greasy and like, what was that? Like all of it? What did he have on? What was going on with his feet? The jacket? It was all wrong. It was all ill-fitting. Yeah, Crystal. Yeah. So can't wait to see how that plays out on April 11th. Next up, they had Yazan and Adam. Now, I have to tell you, Yazan and Adam seem like they're besties. Like, we see them together all the time. And I get that Adam is the translator, but it almost seems more than just translating. And I've heard this from other people as well. Other bloggers and stuff have talked about how it's almost like he sided with Yazan over Brittany. And I felt a little bit of that in this Bears All episode, because when he was like making a comment about, oh, no more of this, I felt like, well, if you're supposed to be impartial, you shouldn't care about the drama that Yazan and Brittany bring, because you're just supposed to be translating. But clearly you've picked a side, and your side is Yazan's side, which I find a little unfortunate, because I think that, you know, you should just be neutral, and he swears up and down that he's neutral, but it just didn't come across that way. And I'm wondering if you guys felt the same way. Definitely let me know in the live chat. Let me know in the comments. So they show a clip of Brittany taking all of the jewelry that Yazan bought her during the relationship and taking it to a pawn shop. Come to find out that none of it's real gold. And she's hoping to get a Rolex out of it. And even Yazan said that all that junk jewelry is not going to be enough for her to even buy some underwear. So, wow. Okay? Wow. You just admitted on national TV that you bought your girlfriend a bunch of junk jewelry. Okay. And then Brittany talks about how far they went sexually. She calls it third base. It definitely was not third base. They definitely had sex. And so they both need to figure out what third base means, respectively. And so I don't know, like Yazan saying that he's waiting for marriage and all of that stuff. I find it BS. I think that they went further, and Brittany confirmed that they went further. So it is what it is. And then Yazan drops a bomb, which wasn't a bomb to me. If you guys watch my news and gossip, we've talked about this. Crystal can attest for it. Lena, he met a girl on Instagram, you guys. And so the backstory is that this girl used to go on his Instagram live all the time, and they would converse. Her name is Lena. And apparently they're engaged. He asked her father for her hand in marriage, and apparently they're getting married. And I will tell you this, you guys, that girl, you can say whatever you want, and I've heard it all before about Brittany being this and that and this and that. I'm going to just be real with you guys 100%. That girl, Lena, is ratchet as hell. She is ratchet as F as far as I'm concerned. And she tried to bring drama to my page for no reason, and then got messy with it, y'all. And if you know me, I stay in my own lane. I try not to be messy. I try to just bring you the facts, but she tried to get messy with me. So I'm going to tell you right here, right now, on April 6th, that if Yazan thought that Brittany was messy, good luck to him, because his new fiance is 1,000% messier than Brittany. And when I say she's for the streets, from the streets, those are all facts, period. And I have receipts to prove it. She has a foul mouth. She uses foul language. She says and does the most, and she thinks that she is from the streets. Now, I will never claim that, because not American, didn't grow up in the hood. This girl thinks she grew up in the hood, and she's not a Black girl. She's an American Jordanian good, and you can be from wherever to be from the streets, but this girl is from the streets, belongs in the streets, should stay in the streets, period. So then Yazan says that they haven't met in real life. So they FaceTime. He spent time with her family, apparently, but he's going to marry this girl. So I'm going to tell you all right now, good luck, because, there's arranged marriages all the time, and it works out perfectly, and I don't have a problem with that. But Yazan, you better spend a little bit more time with your fiance before you put a ring on that finger. That's all I'm going to say about that. So Sean calls Yazan out a little bit because she asks him some questions about Brittany, and then all of a sudden he forgets his English in between answers. Kalani calls him out as well, and Kalani says that it reminds her of Asuelu as she's rolling her eyes. And he's like, no. Yazan's like, when I get stressed or nervous, I forget my English a little bit. Okay, I'll give you that. I don't know if I'll buy it, but I'll give it to you. So Lena and Yazan are getting married this July. So we're in April already. So May, June, July. They're getting married in 3 months. Good luck to them. And like Asuelu said on Bearzal, Asuelu sees red flags. I see red flags. We talked about red flags yesterday, you guys. Clearly, some of these 90-day cast members decide that they're going to absolutely ignore the red flags. I'm going to let you know right now, all the newbies here, all my regulars, we all talked about it. We'll remind each other of this show. Red flag, red flag, red flag. Let's see how this plays out. Hey, Lynn. Lynn says, oh, boy, I'm still awake. Hi, Linda and the others here. Everyone say hi to Lynn. So that's Yazan's update. Girls season, yes, it's red flags all over the place. All over the place. Okay, you guys, get ready. They played bingo, and we played it here before. I'm going to ask the same questions that Sean asked. So for bingo, they added Jess to the mix. So it was Jess, Yazan, Fernanda, Kalani, and Asuelu. So 5 people are playing their Bears All Bingo. And I'm going to ask the questions, and then I'll tell you who bingoed on it. And then I also want to know your answers as well. So the first question is, have you ever hooked up with anyone who doesn't speak your language? So you guys, I want to know from you guys your personal experiences. Have you ever hooked up with anyone who didn't speak your language? Jess said yes, and Yazan said yes. And what was funny about this is that Sean kept calling out Yazan, like every question she knew the answer to for Yazan. She's like, Yazan, did you mark that down? Yazan, did you mark that down? I died of laughter. Rena says, no, she never has. Anyone else? Have any of you hooked up with someone who didn't speak your language? Trisha says, yes, she has. So it's 50-50 right now in the live chat. Someone said yes and someone said no. Next question. Have you ever been accused of cheating? Whether you cheated or not, have you ever been accused of cheating? For this question on Bears All, Yazan said yes and Jess said yes. Colt accused Jess of cheating even though she never cheated. In the live chat, Crystal says nope. And Raina says nope. Next question. Have you ever called your partner the wrong name? Or, yeah, that's it. I'll go with that. Have you ever called your partner the wrong name? So, for example, Lynn says, no, but I did. Oh, hi, Spider Web Walker. You're new. Everyone say hi to Spider Web Walker. I think Spiderweb Walker is talking about the previous question. And so the previous question was been accused of cheating, and I have many of times. And then for this question, Spiderweb Walker says never been accused of cheating. Got it. And everyone's saying no, that they've never called their partner the wrong name. Well, on this show, Jonathan has, Fernanda has, and Yazan has. And Yazan actually called his new fiance, Lena, Brittany. He said he meant to say baby, but instead he said Brittany. So he was in the doghouse for a few days. Fourth question. Have you ever had a family member disapprove of your partner? Have you ever had a family member disapprove of your partner? For this question, every single player said yes. So Asuelu, Kalani, Fernanda, Yazan, and Jess all said yes. How about you guys? Have you ever had a family member disapprove of your partner? I think that happened to me one time. Susan says no. Trisha says, yes. Myra says, yep. Raina says yes, and so does Lynn. So it's around. Okay. Next question. Have you ever been walked in on while you were having sex? Have you ever been walked in on while you were having sex? For this, Jess said yes. Her roommate back in Brazil walked in on her one time. And then Fernanda said she hasn't been walked in on, but she's walked in on her parents while they were having sex. So have you ever been walked in on? Raina says nope. Next question. Have you ever been handcuffed? Crystal says nope, but I've had the same experience as Fernanda. So have you ever used handcuffs? So you've actually used them on your partner or had them used on you. Jess said yes, and she loves it. And Fernanda said yes, she loves it as well. And Asuelu and Kalani have not done that, but they want to try it. Lynn says no. Raina says no. Deborah says she's a mom with children, of course. And the last question that they were asked you guys was, have you ever had sex in public? And with this question, both Jess and Fernanda bingoed out. Jess said yes on the beach, and Fernanda said yes in a parking lot in a car. Crystal says nope. Lynn says nope. Oh, wait. Is that a no or a yes? So Lynn says yes. Raina says no. Trisha, I love your comment to Deborah. That's hilarious. And Crystal says she's not surprised by Jess at all. So, yeah, because we all know that Jess said that she's a very sexual person. So, I'm not surprised by that at all either. So, that was the bingo they played. And Fernanda and Jess both won on that, or they bingoed out, however you want to look at it. Then we talked a little bit with Jess. And we know that Jess and Brian are both on Pillow Talk, and they cover Colt and the single life. Now, Colt, they showed the scene where Colt was on his first date and he was speed dating. And he says that he lives at home, that he has 6 cats, that he's recently divorced. And, you know, we're not surprised that he didn't match with anyone. Okay. So, Colt's a mess. Jess says, you know, the only thing he likes to do is go to the casino, play bingo with his mom, and play with his cats. And so everyone, including Fernanda, everyone said that it's 100% turn off on a first date to bring all that baggage, to say that, you know, you live at home, you've got 6 cats, you're like divorced and recently separated, and, you know, all of the stuff. Like, it's a turn off. However, I thought that, as Waylu made a good point, he's like, you know, it's good to be honest, but you also want to just bring your A game, right? At first, you want to bring your A game on that first date, and then start to reveal yourself. But when you just like dump on people, it might not be a good look. However, I'm going to say it's very important to be honest, because you don't want to misrepresent yourself and then be invested in a relationship to turn out that that person is not who they said they are. Do you know what I mean? Anyhow, so Sean says to Jess, what advice would you give someone who wants to date Colt in the future? Deborah, I will not put that up. I will not put that up on the live chat, but I see you, girl. I see you. What advice would you give future people who want to date Colt? And Jess basically said, just know that if you're dating Colt, you're dating Debbie, so you're going to be dating both of them. So be prepared to be in a relationship with 2 people. She doesn't think that Colt is ever going to go anywhere, leave his family, leave his mom, leave the house, fly the coop, however you want to put it. She doesn't think that he's 100% going anywhere. So just know. But I think that Debbie started, because we know that Debbie's starting to date now. So I think as soon as Debbie has her own person, I think that the things will change a little bit between the dynamics between Colt and Debbie. And I don't know about y'all, and I know it's a toss-up, and I know we talked about it yesterday, but I got to tell you, I think Andrew's way worse than Colt. And we've only met Andrew for 1 season, but I just think he's worse than Colt. At least with Colt, you know what you're getting. Do you know what I mean? Exactly, Susan. You're getting a 100% mama's boy who tries to gaslight women, but he's not good at it. So, you know, it doesn't last. But Andrew is like a whole different level. I think he's like a whole different narcissist level that it's scary to me personally. I don't know. Crystal says, I agree. And Trisha says, Colt is immature and Andrew is cruel. Yeah, I agree with that. Yes, Crystal, he is trying to declare war on social media. And if you guys don't know, Andrew's in an online war with David from David and Annie. He just called out Jeffrey from Jeffrey and Varia. He's doing the most. So he's trying to either stay relevant, or now that his season's over, he's just full on going balls out crazy. So I'll keep you guys posted. We'll talk about that in news and gossip because he's doing the most of the most of the most of the most of the most. And then he wants to turn around and say that he wants to apologize, but he wants a public platform to apologize on. Why don't you just apologize? Why don't you just call up David and say, hey, you know what? My bad. I was a jerk. I shouldn't have called you out. I shouldn't have threatened to beat you up. Let's bury the hatchet. What you're not about to do is go on social media, say that you want a platform of your favorite podcast so that you can have a referee, so that you can have, national and international people watching you. Maybe apologize to David. Stop playing. Don't even get me started. That's a whole other 10-minute spiel. Crystal said, but even before that, he bashed Amira like crazy and still bashing Amira. His mom is bashing Amira. I mean, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. How about that? All right. So then we got into the part that I thought was super emotional, you guys. Kenny and Armando, part 2 of their interview. They talked a lot about Kenny and how it's been a year since he's seen his kids. And, he has 4 kids, the triplets and Bryson. So it's Cassidy, Taylor, Madison, and Bryson. And because, the pandemic, all of that stuff, they haven't seen each other in real life for about a year. And Sean asked, was it more difficult to watch your dad try to be accepted by Armando's family? And it was difficult because Armando's family doesn't even accept him. So you can imagine that they're also going to accept Kenny, right? So it was hard for them to watch because that's not how they grew up. Now, Sean asked a question, and I'm curious what you guys think. So Sean asked a question that I thought fell flat, meaning that she asked it and they were all like, wait, what? What are you talking about? And so she never followed up with it. She actually just moved on to her next question. So she said to Kenny's children that are now grown, what was your experience for your dad coming out to you? Like, what was that? And they were like, well, he didn't have to. And then Kenny was like, yeah, I had them as a gay man. And I just thought that, I felt like she should have known that. Do you know what I mean? Because we all knew that. It's not like he had to sit down and say, hey, children, I'm gay, right? He made a conscious decision as a gay man to start a family. So it wasn't something that they had to I don't know. The question fell flat, and I think she felt it, and I think they all felt it. And so she just moved on. Then they had Virginia, and you guys know Virginia is Armando's mom. Crystal said, yeah, she should have known that because it was IVF and it was intentional. Yeah, I just feel like that question was something that, we all get it as hosts. We have that question that we're like, oh, I shouldn't have asked that question, or I should have asked them a better way or whatever. So we all have those moments. I just felt like, I guess it stood out to me as a host to be like, oh, that's a question that probably could have been phrased differently as well. All right, let's talk about Virginia because this part was super sad to me. And, even though they've come far in their relationship, I don't think they've come far enough. So Sean asked, when did you find out that Armando was gay? Virginia starts crying, on Bears All, she's crying. And through her crying and wiping her tears, she tells the story of how Kenny's wife told her. And Virginia kept telling Armando that it wasn't true, that he wasn't gay. Okay. So you keep telling your son it's not true, it's not true, it's not true. That's super sad. And she said that it was a big surprise and it was a strong blow to the family. And it was very sad. And that the family was surprised because he was married with a kid. And so it was hard for them. And they said that he shouldn't have hid it. And that it was just, they weren't for it. And it was sad because Armando was like, he felt at that time in his life that he was condemned and cursed. And it was hard for him. And then at this point, we see Armando kind of walk off because he got super emotional. And then we were all crying. Everyone was crying. So he got emotional. Kenny got emotional. And then, his mom is already crying because his mom is like, it's almost like she's reliving the moment, but she's also looking at her son with his fiance and still living in the moment and still saying like, it's very sad. This is not true. Like you can tell in her gut that she hasn't accepted it yet. She's trying to, but she hasn't. And then his sister was crying, and then Madison and Cassidy and Taylor and Bright, everyone's crying. Even Sean was like tearing up because you could absolutely feel the pain. Oh, hey, Andrea, you're new. Everyone, welcome, Andrea. Okay, let me get to the live chat a little bit. Crystal says Armando's wife, ? Crystal. Yes. So if you guys remember, Armando was fully married for many years. The mother of Hannah was his wife, and she unfortunately passed away. And that's a whole other story that I probably am not going to get into, but Crystal, if you want to talk about it in news and gossip, we'll talk about it because I did mention it because her passing was tragic. But yeah, he was married. Oh, did I say Kenny? I meant Armando. If I said Kenny's wife, I meant Armando's wife. Yes, my bad. Andrea says that was bogus of Sean to ask that question. That night, his wife died, and unborn baby Armando told the story. Facts. And Raina, I was crying right there with you. I was crying right there with you. I think we all were crying. It was very emotional. Oh, Deborah, I said it before and I'll say it again. Linda should have had Sean's job. Linda would be 1,000 times much better. What do you all say? What do you all say? Thank you, Deborah. I appreciate that. That's so very kind of you. I'm not trying to take someone's job, but I'll join. How about that? We could co-host, or I could host my own show on TLC. Let's start that petition. Let's get that started immediately. So back to this. So Armando felt condemned and cursed, and although now he feels blessed, he feels that he has the love of his life with him, and that's all he needs. Now, Sean asked Virginia, who is Armando's mom, do you think Armando is happy? And you know what, you guys? She said she didn't know. Isn't that sad? You're looking at your son with his partner. He's clearly happier, but you're still saying that you don't know. I just thought that was really, really, really sad. I thought it was really sad. So anyways, Armando said that he feels blessed now. He feels like he was able to live through all of this to have the blessing of his life right now. And I just, you guys, like they said, love is love. Like who are we to judge? And like, I guess my problem with all of it, you guys, is that that's your family and you want to feel loved and supported by your family. And I don't know that journey. However, like I can't imagine your family. I just can't imagine your family looking at you crazy and talking crazy to you and being upset in their life for you finding love in your life. It just makes me sad. Yes, Susan, love is love. And Myra says it takes a minute for parents to accept. I understand that to an extent, Myra, but I do think that your children are your children and you should just love them unconditionally anyways. I mean, look at Lori and Andrew. She loves her gaslighting son no matter what. So if you can love, your narcissist son, you should be able to love your gay son or your gay daughter. Like, it's your child, so you should just love them unconditionally, don't you think? I don't know. That I don't have children yet, but I would hope that would be the case for anyone. And I get that maybe it's not, your specific way as a parent, and maybe you had different thoughts on how who your child would be, but at the end of the day, they're still your child. So love them unconditionally, period. That's it. That's all. Deborah says, that is just terrible. I look at my 4 children and I know they are so happy in their life that they had chosen God blessed me. That's it. Love your children for who they are. They need that more than anything. Because you know what? I'll tell you this before I get off on my tangent here. The love and support that you have at home is important because, you know, outside, there are all the battles outside that you're fighting on a regular. You're fighting to be heard. You're fighting to be seen. Get good grades, get a great job, find a great partner. There are all those things. So like it would be nice to come home and just feel unconditional love from your family. And now, do I get that family comes in all shapes and sizes 100%? Sometimes your family is the family you find and not the family that you're born into. That's also 100%. But I guess my point is this, like, where you rest your head and who you call family, they should be supportive of you. So however you're going to get that. And if someone who perhaps is your blood and isn't ready to accept you for who you are, no matter what it is, then you know what? Love them from afar and surround yourself with people who actually love you for you, period. That's it. There's enough hate and trauma out in the world to have to come home to hate and trauma. It's unnecessary. So build your family. You know, like build a bear, build your family, build your peep. That's it. Build your tribe. Okay. Then to make us all like warm and fuzzy, Hannah joins in, and she's just a beautiful child. She's a beautiful, happy child. And she didn't really say much. She just was there, Ola, giving air kisses to her extended family now. And she's just adorable. She's adorable. You can tell that she's loved. And that's all that's important. And I think that Virginia saw that. And so, you know, I have hope for them. Hey, Jojo. I have hope for them. I have hope that they make it, period. Now, do I want to see Kenny and Armando immediately, if not sooner, on another season? Absolutely. They should have totally been on Happily Ever After. Like, hello. But maybe they're saving them for the next season. Last but not least, they had the dancing segment. Fernanda was teaching them salsa dancing. Fernanda has rhythm. Everyone else did not, in my opinion. Sean didn't get it. Asuelu and Kalani maybe Asuelu a little bit, but definitely not Kalani. There was no like hip shaking, none of that going on. And then Asuelu showed them Samoan dancing. They were a little bit better, but not that much better, you guys. And then he did a beautiful fire dance, you guys. He did this beautiful fire dance. I was so for it. I think he's super, super talented. And that was it. So you guys know how they always have the 90 Dayers who have talents show their talents. So we've seen a lot of singing, we've seen piano playing, and now we've seen dancing. And both Fernanda and Asuelu in their respective dancing, salsa and Samoan dancing, were really quite good. And I would have liked to see a little bit more of that. But it was just a short, small segment. Crystal said, when Asuelu did the fire dance, I was like, oh, he's legit. Yeah, he's legit. He is legit. And that's what he does. He performs for audiences and stuff in Utah. And he's part of a dance troupe, and he's really, really good. And so you guys who drag him on the internet when he's posting all of his dance stuff, he's actually a really good dancer, and he's just a light personality, and I'm for it. I love his little dances on TikTok and whatnot. I'm about that life. That was the show, you guys. That was it. So I told you at the top of this show that I was a little underwhelmed. It did have a lot of things going on. Trisha says, Linda, can you talk about the Happily Ever After promo that aired during the show? I hadn't seen it before, sir, if you already mentioned it. I did mention it. I will talk about it a little bit. So here's what we know so far, you guys. So Happily Ever After, the tell-all is going to be on April 11th, which is this weekend. It's going to be a 2-part tell-all. We're going to see the first part. Now, if you guys have been following, we know that Natalie, yes, is going to be in studio. We know that Mike, yes, is going to be in studio. We know that Andrew will be in studio, but Amira will not be in studio, but she'll be like videoed in. And then we know that Jovi and Yara are there in studio because they kind of teamed up with Andrew when they were all in California. So we know that they will be there as well. And we know that Andrew has a complete fit, walks off because Amira agreed to be on the tell-all as long as she didn't have to talk directly to Andrew nor look at him. And he got pissed off and walked off stage because he feels like that's not a fair platform for him and that he wants to be able to directly confront Amira on the tell-all. So we already know, you guys, that it's going to be super messy. We will see Jovi and Yara in studio. Who we won't see is Stephanie. Stephanie will not be at the tell-all. She had no part of the tell-all. Stephanie is doing her own separate tell-all on the 11th as well. She's calling it Sofa Talk. So I will keep you guys updated on that. But yeah, there's going to be a lot going on. You guys bring your wine, bring your tea, bring your juice, whatever it is you drink, bring your water. It's about to be on and popping. Now, I'll say this, the best tell-all, in my opinion, in 90 Day history was the tell-all that they did online, the original one that leaked. You guys, that 10-hour tell-all, that was the best tell-all. It was all the in-between stuff. I'm hoping, now that they've seen how popular that tell-all was, that this one will be a little bit better, that Sean will ask better questions, because she's had this whole season of Bears All. So I'm going to need her to bring the A game. I'm going to need her to ask the tough questions. And I don't want it to be super scripted and everyone looking at each other and we don't get the answers. I want to know why Andrew lied to his mom and his sister, didn't tell the truth. I want to know why Andrew lied to America and the rest of the nations that watched the show and said that he did everything he could to help Amir get out of Mexico City when we all know that he did nothing. I want to know what Amira felt like Andrew was her soulmate and whether or not she really did love him or she just wanted to come to America. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mention Mike and Natalie, who will both be on the tell-all in person. I'm going to need Sean to ask what's up with you two. So when they filmed the tell-all, you guys, they were not separated yet. Okay, just keep that in mind. They were not separated yet. Yeah, Andrew said, Baby Girl Lisa was great. LOL, missed the leak show. Yes, the 10-hour tell-all was the bomb, y'all. It was the bomb because we really got to see who they really were. And I also think, too, because they're all filming from home, they were more relaxed, less studio. Because, you know, if you've ever been in a studio, it's also produced and you want to look good and sit properly and all of this stuff. So I need her to ask those questions. Rebecca and Ziad, I want to know if Rebecca really was having second thoughts about marrying her and why she made a huge big deal, because we all saw how we sat for 2 seasons of them going back and forth and how much she loved him. So this 90 days should have been nothing and she shouldn't have made a big deal. She should have just gone ahead and got married. So I want them to talk a little bit about that. I also want her to talk about how Tiffany, Rebecca's daughter, and Micah treated Ziad in the beginning. And I want to know if it's gotten better now and if they accept him. Like, I have a bunch of questions. All I'm saying, you guys, is I'm going to need Sean to bring her A game. We see her on Bears All, and she's way better on Bears All. She's more open. So I just don't want us to revert back to previous tell-alls when you guys know that we get all excited and then we watch the first hour and it's nothing. You're like, I didn't learn a damn thing. There's no drama here. You're not asking the questions that we all want to know. Why am I sitting here? You can't go back to that. That's all I'm saying. Do you guys agree? Let me know in the comments and let me know in the live chat. That's it. That's all, you guys. I'm excited for the tell-all. If you guys are not following our social media, please follow 90 Day the Melanated Way all across social media. Tomorrow we're doing part 2 of our Nikki Star crossover event. If you guys are interested in Happily Ever After, we are going to be giving you our predictions. We are going to give you some tea. We're going to give you some news and gossip. So definitely head over to our Instagram, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow for part 2 of our crossover event. That's the show, you guys. Please consider supporting. I didn't see any super chats today, which makes me very, very sad. But please support the show. And if you can't support it financially, definitely make sure you give me some thumbs up and some hearts, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. And I'll see you guys all tomorrow at 1 p.m. on Instagram. And bye for now. Bye, guys.